Okay, now we're going to incorporate uncertainties to some of the variables that we used. So we're going to take this base model and copy it as a new sheet. So move our copy. So we say create copy. All right. So we'll put it right before this FB. Okay, we'll come to FB in a minute. Okay. So we have the base model. Everything is exactly like what we had before. Now we have to change these three, right? And then we have to change beta. So these are the 4 cells that we have to put risk into. So let's copy the weight and estimates. Okay, so let's do that here. Okay. So these are numbers that the experts have provided from their reports. So these are the weights. Now we're going to use PERT to simulate the parameters. So for growth rate, okay, so what would it be if we went with the minimum, most likely, and maximum given by our first expert? So if this is true, then when we simulate, so we have risk PERT, right? Okay, that, comma, that, comma, that. Okay, so that will give us, okay, that will simulate one value for revenue growth, right, based on these parameters given by our first expert. Okay, so now we can copy that down, and that will set up the second expert and the third expert. And let's put the border back. All right, now if we copy these 3 over here, that will be for cost of goods. Okay, and copy that. That will be for R&D. Okay, so now we have the weights. So now each expert for revenue growth, now we have 3 estimates simulated from PERT based on the parameters of each expert. Now if we take these as x's and these weights as probability, we can set up a discrete probability, user-defined discrete probability distribution. So that will generate a random value for our growth. And same, we'll do the same with cost of goods, and same with R&D. So here, instead of the 20% that we entered, okay, so we're going to say, all right, so it's going to be risk discrete. Okay, and the x values, not table, should be range. Okay, would be those 3. Okay, and then the P table or the probability table will be that. Okay, so that will generate probability. I mean that will generate growth rate based on these simulated growth rates and these probabilities associated with that. Now it doesn't change from 20% because of that part. Risk static 0.2 means that when we are not simulating, that static value will be displayed. Okay, but when we simulate, that part will be used for generating new values of revenue growth. Now we do the same thing here with defined distribution discrete. Okay, so X table for cost of goods will be that. What will be the ratio cost of goods to revenue, and the probabilities are these. Okay, click OK. So that gives us risk discrete of from here. Okay, and we have okay. So now we need to take the average away. So now it's adding to the average. So it should be like that. And then again, we remove the average and insert discrete. X table is for R&D, these three values, and the probability is these three values. Okay, so now we have set up the first three variables of uncertainty with risk functions. So here this will be repeated down up to here and then decline to 3%, and then in this part the simulated ratios will be used for the costs. Now we need to look at beta.